Ready to be Romanced. I'm Torry.
And I'm Shannon.
And today we're discussing Priest. Shannon, welcome to the pod. Thanks so much for coming on.
I'm so excited to come on. I love the pod. I love the little music you do beforehand. And I'm reading the second ACOTAR book. I just got it. And I honestly mostly got it just that way I can listen to the other episodes that you guys did on it because I'm so excited.
I appreciate that so much. I slid into your DM so fucking fast when you said you were reading ACOTAR because I was like, oh, another one is coming over to the dark side. And I was like, I have so many recs for you, and Priest being number one, because I feel like we've talked a little bit about Catholic shame and how that plays out in our sex lives. So we'll talk about that, but first, what is your relationship with reading romance? Are you a big romance reader?
Oh my god, of course. I grew up reading. I also thought when I was a kid, I thought that watching porn was illegal for some reason. So,
it feels illegal.
You don't do it out in public, right? You do it at home. So I definitely knew there was something nasty about it, but I did think it was truly illegal. So I would grow up watching hentai or cartoon, Little Princess Jasmine, getting railed, or I would read stories. And have you ever read lit erotica about celebrities?
No.
Yes,
other than Harry Styles fanfic.
Okay, but that's the thing. These people write fanfic about celebrities, and obviously, I'm a pop culture celebrity girl, so I would see these come across, and it's so interesting the amount. These people are writing stories, and it's complete fantasy farce, but they always the things that they do sometimes make sense and sometimes don't. They're always writing stories where Demi Lovato loves anal. And I'm I don't know, maybe I could see that. But then they're and Taylor Swift's in a gangbang. And I'm she would never. How are you writing this? So it's always interesting to see what people come up with and all the different categories there. So then reading all of that kind of led me to the books. And I feel for the books, right, you have enemies to lovers, you have we're fake dating, whereas with literotica you have BDSM, teacher student. It's just funny how they're both broken into these categories. So then I'm trying to think of the first erotica. I definitely read 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a crazy story?
Yeah. Because that's everyone's gateway book, I feel. Or not everyone's, but a lot of people's.
It's name brand erotica, Kleenex for tissues or something.
Exactly.
So my family and I, we run this nonprofit that we've been running for 15 years, and we go down to Tanzania about every summer, and it's kind of evolved. It started as building libraries in different primary and secondary schools in Tanzania, and now it's kind of evolved into scholarships and working with these specific schools. So I was actually invited on the Nate Berkus show, Oprah Winfrey's gay best friend, when I was in high school to talk about this, and he gifted the nonprofit a bunch of e-readers, and we had set up solar panel light construction, so we had charge that could charge the e-reader. So we were great, let's bring them down. But the flight down to Tanzania is dude, it's 3 days because we're in such a remote place. We have to take all these puddle jumpers. We thought, well, hey, why don't we use the e-readers, on the trip there? Then we'll just erase them, load them up with books, textbooks for the girls. So of course on my e-reader, I put Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. And of course I just look for YA fantasy. And there's this erotica book called Insatiable that I download. And have you read it?
No, it's not the Netflix show, right?
No, I don't think so.
Debbie Ryan?
No, I don't think this, and I think I downloaded it because it was free, so it wasn't a good
me.
Book. Yeah, I was just okay, this looks interesting, and there's 2 graphic sex scenes in it, and it's the type of thing where you're reading it on the plane, but you're angling your Kindle a little bit so nobody sees it. Yeah. And then we get down there, we wipe it, we give it to the girls, and the next year we go back, and I'm checking out the e-readers, and I see that one is definitely used more than the others, and I open it up, and it didn't get erased, and Insatiable is still on there.
No.
So I pull one of the girls over, and I'm hey, have you read this? And she immediately goes, 237-499, 237-499. And all the girls, their heads start popping up out of the cubicles and they're like, 237-499. And those are the pages where the sex scenes happen. So
iconic.
Passing this e-reader around like contraband over the past year and like telling each other what pages to like skip to. And I was just like, yeah, these are high school girls like passing around erotica like it's drugs, because it's a Catholic all-girls school.
Oh, that makes me literally so happy, because literally there are Instagram posts which it will post a book and then you'll scroll to the next like carousel post and it'll just be like, here's the pages of the smut. It's just a universal like Taylor Swift's time continuous thing throughout the history of the world, where it's like, yeah, we fucking get it. That's so funny.
Yeah, which is so funny. Like, I do find it crazy that girls are so drawn to erotica, whereas for men, right, it would be like Pornhub comments being like, it gets good at 17 minutes and 23 seconds. Like, but I don't know what it is. Like, guys love the videos and girls just love the books. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the books, it's like, I think imagination. I think women maybe like use their imagination more.
Can I ask you a question? Because have you read erotica and then been in the mood and then had sex and like it's good, but like it's not what you were reading?
No, literally, which is just so funny, because even with this book, I was picturing like churches that you see in Europe, that it's like gold and red and like the moods, the setting is like all the mood. And then it's like, if you really think about it, it's like the dingiest, shittiest small town church that like smells like sausage and like and like mothballs and stuff like that. And it's like, but you really just like make it up in your head. And yeah, IRL, I don't know. I haven't found anything as good.
Even when I look, and I'm not talking about like the other partner, even when I look at my own situation, I'm like, maybe I should like masturbate. Like, this book is crazy. And then I'll look down and I'll be like, my pubes are like out of control. And like, they don't talk about that in the book. They don't talk about razor burn in the book. They don't talk about queefing in the book. Like, you know?
Yeah, no one's accidentally farting. Like, I'm dead. 100%.
Nobody's like, am I wet or is it discharge? I'm embarrassed, so I'm just going to throw my underwear across the room when I take it off so he can't see.
Yeah, I know. Like, nothing's getting stuck. Like, it's just, 100%. I know. There are some rom-coms where there's, like, some comedy in the sex scenes that are, like, fun and light and stuff like that. But, like, I don't know. I like these types of books where it's just, it's so serious.
Yeah, like, give me anal that takes no preparation and like it works perfectly. Like, it's
with
sacramental
sacramental oil, possibly.
Dude, I cannot wait for us to get into this.
Okay, one more question, then let's get into the book. Have you watched Fleabag?
I've seen so many clips from it and everyone tells me I would love it, but I'm nervous it's going to fuck me up because everyone in the comments is like, this episode ruined me. I was like crying after. So I was just like, okay, well then I'm not going to watch it. Like, I don't want to be ruined.
No, that's so fair. It is kind of like Normal People, or the idea of you, or not the idea of you, One Day that just came out, where it's like, yeah, it will ruin you. Like, I watched it years ago and I still think about it all the time. But I was just thinking about like the hot priest, and I was like, oh, it makes so much sense that I like this book because I loved that TV show.
Yeah. Or did you watch Sex and the City with Samantha Fryer?
Oh, yes. Yes. Oh my God, I should rewatch that.
She would like kneel down next to him in the pew, and I think she gave him like canned food for a canned food drive. She was like, here you go, Fryer.
No, literally. Oh my God, I love it. That's so fun. Okay, so we're going to be talking about priests. We're not going to talk about anything that comes after that. So spoiler warning and a content warning. There's going to be discussion about rough sex, suicide. Oh, yeah.
That was
I know. I should have told you. I'm sorry.
No, to be honest, I skipped most of those sections, so it's fine.
No, I know. It's actually funny. I forgot about, there is some like really dark elements about this book, because there is suicide, a previous suicide that happens, and then like discussion about the church's history and ongoing sexual abuse. So content warning, take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
So this book is written by Sierra Simone, and it was published June 18th, 2015. I have to say,
is that a stage name, by the way? Because that's sexy.
It must be. It must be. But
wait, sorry, stage name.
Stage
like,
name.
She's an actress. No.
Pseudonym.
Pseudonym. I'm like already horned up. Is that her performer name?
Oh my God, I'm so dead. So this book, I feel like, really holds up. It stands the test of time, except for like some of the clothes that Poppy wears. I feel like I couldn't tell that this was written like almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, yeah, I mean, maybe like the Walking Dead reference, they keep talking about it like it's the hottest show ever. And it's like, Walking Dead was big like 15 years ago, you know?
Yeah, that's so true. So the story begins with Tyler Bell, who is a 29-year-old priest in a small town outside of Kansas City. Go Chiefs.
Yeah.
And he grew up in a devout Catholic family, always felt like the calling from God to serve. And he has a tragic backstory. His sister died by suicide in his family's garage, and he was the one that found her. And we find out later on that's because she was sexually abused by someone in the church. And so obviously he's a priest, so he's taken a vow of celibacy. And that hasn't been a problem, even though he was like big into sex prior. And it hasn't been a problem in this little small town until Poppy Danforth, a 23-year-old like waspy like MBA business girly pop, moves into Weston and comes into his confessional and confesses something.
Can I tell you too, like, did you have the same, there is a celebrity who to me, I imagined her the entire time as Poppy Danforth. And do we have the same one in mind?
Who? Because I have one too, but it's not the one that you're thinking of, I think.
Mine is Margaret Qualley.
Oh my God, yes, very much
has, like,
that.
A little bit, like, she has like the dark hair, the big eyes, kind of that like, I don't want to say like childish, but that like childlike, like youthful energy, cheerfulness. I think also her teeth aren't like perfect veneers. And I think he said that about Poppy's.
Yes.
She always has like the red lips. But you know, Poppy in the book is just like an absolute sex bomb who drips sex everywhere. So Margaret Qualley isn't exactly that, but I feel like the face was it.
Totally. Like how many times was he like, her imperfect teeth like
bit
her bottom lip or whatever.
Yeah.
I would be reading this back being like, are they that bad? Like, should I get a little like
totally.
dental work? My actress is Lydia Aguilar Davia, who is the main. Oh no, that's her character's name. Her real name is Blanca Suarez from Las Chicas del Cable Girls. Oh. But look at her as Lydia.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes, this is good. Or almost even Megan in Mad Men, who dated Don Draper.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
actually really good.
That's actually really, really good. Okay, I'm going to put these all on my Instagram stories. That's a really good one.
Yeah, we nailed
it. But yeah. Yeah, if this gets made into a movie.
Yes.
But Tyler doesn't know this at this point because they're in the confessional booth and she comes in, so he doesn't see her. And she confesses, basically. And this is the unserious part of the book. Or maybe it's serious, but the way she describes it is so funny. Basically, she's like, I feel like I should feel bad that I am sexually promiscuous. Like, I like to be degraded. I like having a lot of sex. And the way that I grew up, I should feel bad about it, but I like really don't. And she's like having a tough time reconciling this. And she just wants someone to tell her that everything will be okay. So she's like seeking a higher power.
Which, by the way, the amount of cojones you have to go into a confessional box and say that, like, even if I got, like, just growing up Christian, even if I got married, I'd be like, I don't want anyone to know that someone's ever nutted in me. Do you know what I mean? It's just so shameful. So for her to go in and be like, is it okay that I'm doing blah, blah, blah? Like, oh my God, like I wouldn't even be able to utter the words in a church.
No, 100%. I don't even like I could say that up in like my therapy session. Yeah. She was like graphic. Like it was like I was blushing. But yeah, we learned that she doesn't talk to her family anymore. She became a stripper at an elite private gentleman's club that
Which
she's
isn't
been
it a little
working
like
at.
interesting how even these sex positive books, they're like, it's okay because there's money involved. Like it's okay because it's an elite strip club and like it's wealthy clientele who like don't touch her. Like God forbid like she actually had sex with any of them. She doesn't do that. She just goes up to the line, but she never crosses it. And it's like, come on. Like even in erotica books, there's still that like societal vibe of like, well, she can't have had a train run on her because then she won't be perfect Poppy. She just wants to have a train ran on her.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm so glad you mentioned that. You're right. It's like this distaste for sex workers and clubs in like, I guess, lower income neighborhoods. Like, I don't know. Like,
which by the
why
like,
is she talking like that?
Capital of the world is Tampa, Florida. Like, it's not always like penthouses in New York City. Yeah. And like, it's funny too because they're like, it's not. It's like it's in the city, Kansas City, where like all the elite stuff is. And like, yeah.
Has Travis Kelce visited this strip club?
Hell yeah. Do you think it's a real place? Maybe.
I don't know. The way that she described the city, how it was situated to Kansas City, I was like, I felt like there was like, it seemed realistic, all of the things she was describing. Maybe. Yeah. So she disappears. She comes in for another confessional and continues her story. And I think she comes in for a fucking third confessional, honestly. But like each time he like gets more of a glimpse of like what she looks like through the booth and like as she's like leaving. The second time she leaves and he like fully jerks off in his office.
As you
and
do,
then
yeah.
as one does. And then the third time she comes in, she leaves. And he stops her.
Mm-hmm. He kind of like corners her, doesn't he?
Yeah. He like pushes her up against the piano and spanks her. Like,
oh, that was the first time.
Yeah.
Because I think she's coming out of the booth. There's like electricity between them. And then doesn't she say too, she's like, I looked you up online, which is like so real of her.
You're so hot. And she's like, I've been like basically thinking about you and stuff like that.
They see each other's face and then he's like out for a run and he sees her on a run and she's like, you're the hot priest. So they kind of start to see each other outside of the church, right?
Yes. So yeah, maybe it's not as random. It's still really fucking like, it's forward of him to like grab her, back her up against the piano, and he goes down on her.
I just kept thinking like, churches are always open to the public because like anyone can go in there and
but that's the thrill. I feel like I think they like that. I really think they like that if they accidentally got caught. They are the definition of that couple that's like, or just anybody that's like, oh, we shouldn't do this but we're gonna do it, or like we'll get caught and our lives will be ruined but like we'll just continue. Like they love the drama.
I will say like when you're really fucking horned up, like nothing in the world matters except coming, you know, like somebody could be like, punch this baby in the face in order to come, and I'd be like, done, give me another. Like you, like your brain just like works in this like animalistic way, like the
reptilian brain.
Yeah. And then afterwards you lie there and you're like, what have I done?
Then that's when the Catholic shame kicks in.
Yes.
Oh my God, so funny. And there's a moment when they're like starting to hook up that he does feel guilty and he like stops and she's like, don't you dare stop.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think the first time they hook up, it's like everything but sex or something, right? Like they.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, can we talk about too how she's always wearing skirts and dresses with no panties? She
and
never
high
wears
heels.
Panties and high heels. Which is just like, do you know any? I do know some girls who like go without panties. I would never be able to. Like, I need my underwear to feel secure. It's my armor.
No, literally. Yeah. I feel like something is missing if I am not wearing underwear.
Especially with a dress, just having your clam out. Like, like
no, literally. Like, and sitting down, like she's in public at coffee shops, at the church, like
sitting in a pew, leaving a little snail trail. And you stand up, like. I mean, they're not going to write that in the book, but that's the reality.
That's the reality of it. 100%. 100%. I'm fucking dead. That's so funny. He goes to her because, yeah, she's like, I looked you up online. I've like masturbated to you and stuff like that. And then He goes, lie down on this floor, spread your legs, and show me what it looks like when you fuck yourself thinking of me.
Which, once again, the balls on her. Like, even if my boyfriend, like, where we are committed to each other, asked me to do that, I'd be like, no. Like, I'd be like, are you crazy? I can't do that. And here she is. She, like, hasn't even, like, had coffee with this man. And she's like, sure thing. I'll show you what it looks like when I masturbate. Here we go.
I'm dead.
I'd just be like, I'm so insecure. Like, I don't even know what it looks like.
100%. Also, like, this is me being so awkward because she's like standing, she's bent over the piano. I was like, how did she get to the floor? Because I would be like, I would be stumbling. I'm like, how do I position my body? Like, how would I lay on the floor? Like, I don't know. I'm just so weird.
Have you ever watched Secret Diary of a Call Girl?
No.
Oh my God, it's one of the best niche shows out there. And it's Billie Piper is in it. And basically there was this famous London escort and she started a blog called I think it's called like Musings of a London Call Girl or something like that. And she's hilarious. Like she just would write about all of her call girl encounters and the men she would see, the weird requests that they had. They were all so rich and their different fetishes and like their quirks. And she was obsessed with wanting to get fisted. Like each guy, she would be like, please fist me. Like nobody can do it. And they would be like, no, no, no. Anyway, so she wrote this like very witty blog. It ended up getting turned into a TV series and it follows her life. And Billie Piper plays this call girl who goes all throughout London and her books end up, or her, she ends up writing everything and getting a book deal. So when she meets with the book guy and she's describing and writing these sexual encounters she's having, he's the guy, the editor who does the work of being like, okay, well, right now there's 3 hands in motion. One is on the nightstand, one is on your breast, and one's on your ass. So you need to take one away. So add a sentence there. So that way there's only 2 hands. And they have this scene where it's kind of, I'll send it to you after this. Like,
I really want to see this.
Yeah, what like goes into writing a sex scene without confusing someone, but without making it too wordy. And it's really interesting.
It's so interesting to me. I never know how authors do it and like do it well because you're right. There's so many things. And like, sometimes I do get caught up in the logistics. I'm like, how did they get to the bed? Or like, how did this happen? Or like whatever that takes you out of it. But it is like really an art. And it's so hard to write because you're right. There's so many like micro details that just like, but it's not, you don't want it like that into, I don't know. It's not for me for sure. Like I couldn't do this, but I applaud anyone that can.
The next time we do like the podcast collective, we should all try our hand at writing erotica.
Yes, 100%. That would be so fun. I actually have an idea. I'll say it because I feel like it's not like that secret, but I love the idea of a romance that takes place in the athletes' village at an Olympic Games. I'm sure there's books on that, but I like I think it'd be so fun if it was like the Winter Olympics or something like that, and they have all of the athlete housing, and then maybe yeah, and maybe like they always joke about the Olympics like giving like 1,000 million condoms and stuff like that, and
it could be that idea of like, how sometimes guys like don't come before boxing matches or things like that because they want to save up their testosterone. It could be like, oh, like I can't do it, but she's so sexy. Like, God, you're gonna make me come before my match. I'm supposed to be saving this.
That's so fucking funny. Oh my God. Yeah, so they start forming a friendship. Like they're both also talking about their past, like Tyler and his sister, and Poppy with her family, and her ex-boyfriend who is really controlling. And obviously their feelings are growing.
And you have to say the name of the ex-boyfriend because it's so waspy dick.
I know, Sterling. What did you think of that?
I love it because I just think of Sterling Archer from the show Archer.
Yes. And one night Sterling calls Poppy and she's upset. So she grabs a bottle of scotch and heads over to Tyler's house. And he feels so guilty for having these like constant thoughts about wanting to have sex with her. But they end up hooking up and he puts her, or she gets on the counter and he like sticks his dick in her, but like an inch.
Yeah.
And he's like, it was very Mormon soaking. Yeah. He's like, okay, like, this isn't really sex, right? Like, it's not really sex if I just like put it in a little bit.
Christian, like, fuck yes it is. Even thinking about sex is sinful. Like, putting just the tip in, like, definitely counts.
He's like, I just want to do it once. And
literally sounds like a 16-year-old. Like.
No, literally. And he literally comes and, like, without any other, like, touching or anything like that.
Well, I'm sure if he's been celibate for years, like, it wouldn't take much, you know?
And Poppy's like, this is the hottest thing I've ever done. They're obsessed with each other. Meanwhile, they are working on some fundraisers. They're trying to revive the church's membership.
So sorry. It's just such a jarring contrast. And can we also say, too, in between these sex scenes, they're also talking about his sister's suicide. So it literally goes from, like, I held my member in my hand, like, throbbing, thinking of her open mouth and her imperfect teeth. And then, like, chapter 2. Went over to dinner for moms, and she was really sad about how, you know, her daughter died. And, like, we talked about that. And I was like, oh, Jesus, talk about a boner killer. Like, oh, my God.
I know. People contain multitudes. But this is why he feels so bad about everything. Mm-hmm. Because he's like, I'm a terrible person for, like, wanting to have sex like this. I, like, did all of this work to become a priest, and now I'm, like, throwing it away. He has this pressure of reviving the church's, not clergy, I don't know,
just like
parishioners or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, just like making the church a better place, getting rid of the bad people there. Like so.
And Poppy wants to help him, so they do. This is like,
so
I was
they
like,
work on a fundraiser together,
and I was like, thank God, like literally, thank God that there is some other storyline, because otherwise it's just them fucking. And like, and no, I know a lot of people don't like insta love, insta sex type of books, so I was like, well, there's the friendship storyline that they're developing.
Yeah. It's like he goes for a run sometimes they work on the fundraiser, and he has, like, a family. We see them sometimes.
Exactly. One night Tyler finds Poppy. She's talking to God in the church. He kisses her and he says, I don't think I care anymore about, like, being secret. And she says, neither do I. And he realizes he's falling in love with her. But she has to go to the club in Kansas City to work for a few days. But don't worry, because Tyler calls her to masturbate over the phone.
Mm-hmm. She's immediately down. He's like, I'm hard. She's like, okay, baby, like, let me send you a photo, like, incoming photo. And then she's like, hold on, let me go find a closet I can get inside and start masturbating too. And it's just like, I honestly, like, I envy it. I wish I was good to go as much as she was. Like, being able to just snap into it and be like, I'm down, let's start masturbating. Like, sometimes, you know, as a woman, it changes, I think, too, depending on your cycle, like how horny or not horny you are. But, like, sometimes I have to do mental gymnastics to get myself in the mood. And Poppy Danforth is like, no panties, 2 fingers in. Like, I'm always ready. I'm like, God, I want to be you.
No, literally. Also, it's just like, this is why this is a book. Because it's like, if you are sexting with someone, you are in the grossest pajamas, in bed with, like, popcorn and, like you haven't showered all day, and, like, that, and it's like
are in,
you're full on, like, face mask or whatever, and the person's like, what are you wearing? And you're like, or like, what do you do? Where are you right now? And you're like,
technically in bed. In my
Yeah.
bathrobe with, like, fake tanner all over my pillows. Like, it's sexy.
Totally. But she returns to Weston, and they have sex on the altar because they finally decide that they want to have sex with each other, real sex or whatever. And it's everywhere's too far away to get her somewhere. So he lays her down on the altar. This is so fucking funny. He ties her up, her hands up with a cincture, which is, like, I think the belt of, like, the robes.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. It's also like he just starts getting a little bit weird at this point because, like, obviously he's struggling with the fact that I'm fucking someone in public and I'm supposed to be celibate. But this is when he starts like steering a little bit too far into the delusional skid. He's like, what is God? God is sex. Love is good. Sex is love. And love is good. Fucking her equals God. And when I fuck her, I think it actually is religion. So it's fine that I'm doing it because I think anal is the rosary and the rosary beads are the anal beads. So the clit is the Holy Trinity and like it is holy. And the way that he's like talking himself into the fact that like breaking his vows is like actually Christian, you know?
No, it's so funny.
It's like, it's not that serious, babe. It's just like...
No, literally, he gets all up in like Adam and Eve and like
yeah. Oh, and then this is when he starts calling her little lamb too.
Oh my God, I hate that so much. That's a big fucking no from me. Also, I'm pretty sure, I think it derives from people think it's like the church, the priest is like the shepherd and the parishioners or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, the flock, the sheep and stuff like that. And I was like, this is one step too far for me. Like the sacramental oil, fine. The altar, fine. Little lamb, absolutely not. Like,
yeah, little lamb. And I think there was also something too where like he said he was like, in the name of the Father, stroke the clit, like, and the Son, twiddle the labia, and the Holy Ghost penetrate. Like, he says different things and, like, does it to her body at the same time. And I'm just like, that doesn't make it better. If anything, that actually makes it worse. Like,
no, and he's, like, literally, like, speaking Latin to her.
Yeah. I cummus in the Pasieta.
I'm fucking dead. I'm literally crying. But with all that aside, I did like he was a consent king. He says, Poppy, I want to be like this with you, rough, possessive, but you have to tell me it's okay. Tell me it's okay, Bobby. Say those words. Maybe I wouldn't phrase it like that, but he does check in with her to make sure that everything's like okay. And at this point, he's basically like, I want to have sex with you every day. I want to live with you. I want to marry you, basically.
Yep.
But, like, there's still this, like, guilt or, like, what about if we get caught? What about, like, can I still be a priest? Can I still run my
Yeah, do I give up the faith
church?
Or do I give up you? I don't know. I mean, both is hard, yeah.
Totally. This is when they have anal with the sacramental oil. It's so fucking...
Which, by the way, in the Bible, they call that sodomy.
Yeah.
But he does it.
And he's in his collar, and she goes, leave it on.
He goes, okay, little lamb.
Yeah, he goes, you're fucking filthy.
I do love, like, in erotica, like, I'm so bad at dirty talk because, you know, Christian. But I fucking love hearing it and reading it. And I love books that, like, give me dialogue during sex. Like, I want to hear him calling her like a filthy girl, like a dirty little girl who like likes it and like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God, yes. Which is so funny because I love it when I'm reading it. If you, during sex, like I can't even say like, do that. Like, I swear to God, like I can't even come out of my fucking mouth. I think it, but it like,
yes, gun to my head.
Like, shoot me before I say you feel huge in me. Like, honestly, shoot me. I can't do it. Yeah.
No, literally, I would rather die.
No, me too. Like, Torry, that should be on our vision board. We should like make personal goals to like try and say stuff during sex.
100%. I will, not that like I've gotten over this at all, but I do feel like reading these books has not cured a lot of shame, but like I'm like I could maybe throw in a sentence.
Okay, what's a good starter sentence you would say?
Gun to my fucking head. I would need to be like blackout wasted. I would need to do drugs.
You know what I think it is? This was also an episode in Sex and the City where Miranda is like with a guy who loves it, and she like, you know, finds it hard to get into. And then she said that like once she broke the she couldn't stop. Like I do think once I say my first sentence, like are you kidding me? Like,
once I say You're so funny.
No, I'm serious, because like in regular life, I
no,
can't
know.
shut the fuck up. Like we're
I know.
podcasters. Like we have stuff to say, and I know what it is, but it's just that it's like it must be like riding a bike or something, because like it either clicks or it doesn't. I don't know. Anyone who dirty
100%.
talks, give us some pointers.
Slide in, give us your most chaste, easiest
Yeah.
dirty talk line. I'm trying to think, was there anything in the book that I feel like I could say? I don't know.
Wait, hold on. Can I run and get my book real quick?
Yeah, of course.
My dick surged, dirty girl.
I was going to say, it's not going to be hard to find a sex scene in there.
I'm on the anointing scene. I literally opened up to it.
Perf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm anointing you, I informed her. I'm sanctifying you from the inside out. You feel that? That's my finger fucking your ass.
Why did I blank that out of my head?
Oh, not a lot of words in this one.
Too busy with the oil.
Oh, and then during aftercare, he would quote Latin and Greek and like things like that.
That's so funny. There is one thing when in the epilogue when they're getting married, spoiler alert, and they have sex, and then he wipes her with his handkerchief and then he puts it in his jacket. Is that a yes or a no from you? Like,
are you kidding me? Like, dude, pussy smells. Like, every part of the body smells. Like, even if it was like my spit on a napkin, I wouldn't want it. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you're about to hug my nana with like my pussy juice like inches away from her. Like, get that shit away from her. Like, no.
I'm fucking dead. I know. I was like, I can't do the. Again, if this is for you, I love that for you, but I can't do like the panty sniffing, panty keeping handkerchief.
Oh my God,
with
I
jizz
was this
on
guy
it.
once who like stole my panties so he could sniff them and stuff like that. And I was like, I just like, here's the thing. Maybe it's also just because I feel like, you know how every guy thinks that they can land an airplane if they had to?
Yes, the delusion.
I've noticed this new trend of a lot of guys who say that they think that they're bisexual, and I'm just like, that's because like you think it's easy to suck cock because like you've never done it before. Like the minute you suck it, like you're not gonna, the urge will go away. Like, you know, you think you'd be good at it because you've never done it, and you like it when it happens to you. And
Put in the fucking work and then talk to me.
God damn it, you know, put in your 10,000 hours. And I feel like it's the same thing with like sniffing panties. It's like you think it's so great because like you haven't like bled out of it and gotten BV out of it, and then like put the tampon in wrong out of it, and then checked it in the mirror for like, is that an ingrown hair, is that razor burn, or is it chlamydia, like what's going on? Like it's a less magical thing to sniff when you live with it every day and it's self-cleaning.
100%. And also it's like in the book, it's like you're not imagining Nana hugging. Like it's like it ends before that ever happens, but that's so fucking funny. Their relationship's getting super serious. He gives her Lizzie, which is his sister that passed away, her rosary, and he says she would have loved you like I do.
What did it kind of take you out of the book a little bit, the fact that he was like so poor?
When he proposes to her, he's like, I have no money, I have no house, I have really nothing to my name, but I have me. And I was like,
dick.
I was just gonna say, but the dick is good. So like, fuck, that's so funny. Sterling interrupts the happy couple. He shows pictures of them kissing. He like hired like a PI or something like that.
Which, can I say, I found that wildly attractive. I was like, girl, get with Sterling. He's like obsessed with you. He's got money. He's hiring people to stalk you, which is like also kind of a turn on for me. I was like,
he was engaged to another woman, but still like came to find you and have sex with you. Like, where's the Sterling book? Like,
yeah, no, honestly, like, can we get a part 2?
Yeah, the reformed
multiverse.
Sterling. Yeah. Can she redeem him? Yeah, and then so he's like, oh, fuck this, like, please don't like show these pictures to anyone. And then eventually like Poppy sees him and they spend the night together, but they're like not hooking up or anything like that.
Which, let's be honest, I feel like they must have.
I didn't believe that.
Yeah, she's like, we just chit chatted and then I fell asleep. Girl, you cheated. Like,
no, I know. I was like, that was like the only thing that, I don't know, maybe she didn't cheat, but at the time I was kind of just like, I don't know. Like, I want to believe you, but like, I don't know. Why are you spending the night with him? Like, if you needed closure, you could just have the conversation and then part ways.
Yeah, you can get closure over coffee. You don't need to spend the night in a hotel room for closure.
Totally.
I would be upset. Also, considering that this girl is like horned up all the time, no panties, fucking a guy who she like just met in the confessional. You know what I mean?
And also,
like
I don't trust Sterling. Like,
no.
like, yeah.
The guy is wild. And honestly, it sounds like the sex that the two of them had was kind of bomb, you know? Oh, they should have had a threesome scene.
I would like that.
Yeah. Notes for Sierra Simone.
Yeah, exactly. When Poppy gets back to Tyler, he's really drunk. And he says, I should warn her that I've been drinking. I should warn her that I'm angry. This is I know we're making fun of a lot of the plot points in the book because some of them are like just so funny, but this was the one that I was like, this isn't really good because he
like hate fucks the shit out of her or something.
Yeah,
right?
he like hate fucks her. Well, he like jerks off on her. And I was like, I feel like in other scenarios, that's when it's consensual and it's like, that's what's happening. But it's like, he's describing it like he's doing it to punish her. So I didn't like that. And he says she wasn't satisfied. And so I wasn't either, although it hadn't been about satisfaction. It had been about some kind of revenge. And God, I was a fucking asshole. But Poppy takes care of him and she's like, hey, we should go on our first date. Because they did anal before the first date. I got no judgment.
Not that they did anal. They did anal, they did humping, they did fucking, they did sucking, they did, you know what I mean? Like that they did this, they did that. I think they had like one conversation, like one like actual sit down conversation at her house. That was about it.
Pretty much. But she takes him to the strip club, the gentleman's club that she used to dance at, and they role play a dancer client thing. He's like paying for her to dance.
Okay, but that also cringed me out too. Like he didn't have any money, so like she gives him an envelope full of cash and is like, "Here, baby, spend it on me." I'm like, the dick must be good because in my head I would just be like, I'm paying for this. Like, have you heard that quote where it's like, how are you going to subsidize a man in a patriarchy? And it's just kind of like, yeah, Tyler Bell, this good-looking 29-year-old, but like you're subsidizing his life. Like, what's going on here?
He lives in like a rectory, like off the side of the church. Like, no, like let's be fucking for real here. But also, I was like, maybe it's because he doesn't carry cash on him because cash is outdated.
Venmo charges for each thing she does. Ooh, $5 here to take your panties off. $5 to lick your nip.
Exactly. And she's like, I want to do this so you can let go of the past, the part of you that you like hide from. And that was really healing for him. So the next day, he's like, I'm going to propose to Poppy. He goes to her house, but she's kissing Sterling. Something did, like, we knew it. We knew it all along. Mm-hmm. The pictures also get released. This is in the literal back half, like the last 20% of the book. It's a little bit rushed. So she's kissing Sterling. The pictures get released, so his career is over. Poppy leaves. He's going viral, like hot priest memes are.
That was such a real part of the book. Like that would totally happen. Everyone would be like, remember when there was that like hot convict with like the blue eyes?
Yes, absolutely. That's so fucking funny. And months pass and he doesn't know where she is, but he goes on a mission trip to Kenya. He applies to like grad school and again, to just continue being broke.
And he grows out a big beard.
A
breakup beard. It
was really funny when he got home from the airport and his brothers are like, are you a lumbersexual right now? Like,
yeah.
He goes to Sterling to find her and finds out she's opened a dance studio with her parents' money in the Bronx.
And also he finds out from Sterling they're not together.
Yes.
Because when she left, he just saw her kissing Sterling and then she left town. So he was like, oh shit, okay, I guess she chose Sterling in that life. And then he goes to Sterling to be like, where is she? Because I just want closure. And he's like, I thought you would know. Like, she has been ignoring my calls. I thought she was with you.
100%. And he's like, oh, thank God. So he finds her in the dance studio.
No. Not the dance studio. He goes to the dance studio, but next to the dance studio is a church.
Oh, yeah, yes,
and he's called to go into the church before he goes to spy on her. And who does he see praying in the church across from the dance studio? His little lamb. And that's what he says to her, too. He gets in the pew behind her, like Adam Levine in the Animals music video. And he goes, hello. Wait, let me find exactly what it was. I think he says hello,
not
little
hello,
lamb.
little lamb. Like, are you fucking Hannibal Lecter?
Mm-hmm.
I'm dead.
This was it. I got down on my own kneeler and reached forward, extended one finger, and then, when I was only an inch away from her skin and murmured my name for her, lamb, I said, little lamb.
I'm dead. That is so fucking funny.
And then she basically says, right, that like she didn't want him to leave the faith because like he would always resent her for it. So she knew she had to
Which
push
was
him.
smart because he would resent her, I feel like, eventually.
Well, here's the thing, like he had this revelation in the like middle end of the book that I don't know why he didn't have from the beginning. Like, leave the faith, marry her, be a good husband, be a good father. You can still be a man of God. You can still like be faithful while being like, you don't, the only way to serve God is by being a priest. That's not true. Like
100%. Also, don't like some modern priests have spouses?
I think they do now. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe not 10 years ago when this was written, but I was like, yeah, go to a church that's more accepting. I guess he wants to stay by his family. I don't know. Break the rules. I don't know. Yeah, or do something, which he ends up doing. He's getting like a new degree in like divinity or something like that. But it's like he found a way to still serve God without being part of the clergy. Mm-hmm. Also, by the way, I'm just like throwing out words because I was raised atheist.
Oh.
Like I don't actually like, the only thing that I know about Catholicism or like Christianity is like stuff I pick up through like TV, movies, and books and stuff like that.
So like Catholicism is like more hardcore, but I think you can be like Presbyterian or Lutheran. Like I think you can have wives there because we went to a Presbyterian church for a bit, and like that guy definitely had a wife.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that's like a modern thing. Yeah. He proposes to her happily ever after for Poppy and
he doesn't
Tyler.
have shit, does he?
No, he says I have no money.
Oh, this was it. That day I was on my way to propose to you, and if you'll have me, I still want to marry you, Poppy. I don't have a ring. I don't have money. I don't even have a real job right now. But all I know is you are the most single, amazing person God has ever put in my path, and the thought of a life without you breaks my heart. Okay, I would be like, do you have health insurance? Like, do you have a 401k? Like, do you have money saved up for if you get into an accident? Like, you good? Like, it's not even... Okay, here's the thing. Like, I am not like a gold digger or one of those sprinkle girls. For me, it's just about safety and security. Like the same way that I can't get turned on if the house is messy, I can't get turned on if I don't feel safe and secure, you know? And like Tyler, you could at least go to a store at the mall for a ring, Majuri or something.
No, I was thinking this too. I was like, yeah, like I don't need extreme wealth or anything like that, but I was like, it's been 7 months. You could pop down to the local jeweler or get like an heirloom from your mom or something like that. I don't know.
Go to an antique store, especially when she's bearing anal for you in public. Like she is in it to win it, and you can't even find it in yourself to go to Ana Luisa online or something. Like,
literally.
It's just like crazy.
Totally. Maybe it's because she rebukes the like wealth of her family.
Let's just say he got lucky. Okay, he got lucky with what he found.
100%. That's why they're soulmates.
Yeah. Okay, so you said you read the second book.
Yes. The story continues in a novella, Midnight Mass,
with the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, I want to read about it. So what happens? What's their married life like? Oh, wait, are we allowed to talk about it?
Yeah, I'll give it, I won't give too much of a spoiler. It's a novella, so it's short, but it's just them together. I don't even quite remember, but I think they do move back to Weston, and she's opening up her own dance studio.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's just like some trouble with her being like a working woman, not in a weird way. It's mostly sex, I would say.
Okay, good. Yeah,
I think and maybe they get into a little bit of a rut sexually.
Well, yeah, once your fourth time having sex is anal in near public, like there's not much else you can do. Like you've done it all within the first couple of months. Yeah.
Totally. I was talking about this on the episode that will come out today, so now last week, about because we were talking about Harry Styles and we are talking about celebrities having sex and like having to escalate because they have so much sex. Do you believe in that? Like them doing more risque things because
have you heard
it's
John
so
Mayer's,
available?
Yeah, John Mayer had a quote about it.
What did he say?
Oh my God, he got really raw. He basically said, here, let me try to Google it. This was it. So he basically said that he was addicted to porn for a while. And it was also because like he was just getting so much pussy from like anyone that he wanted. So he said, let's see, blah, 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 blah. He says, quote, the internet, DVR, Netflix, Twitter, all of these things are moments in time throughout your day where you're able to soothe yourself. We have an autonomy of comfort and pleasure. You wake up in the morning, open a thumbnail page, and it leads to a Pandora's box of visuals. There have probably been days where I saw 300 vaginas before I got out of bed. He admitted that his habit ruined his sex life, adding absolutely, because during sex, I'm just going to run a film strip. I'm still masturbating. That's what you do when you're 30, 31, 32. This is my problem now. Rather than meet somebody new, I would rather go home and replay the amazing experiences I've already had. So I can't find the full article, but he wrote a lot, or he said a lot about it. You know, he's got that open mouth where he basically said, like, I was having sex with anyone I wanted to, the hottest girls all the time. So then he started like falling down these porn rabbit holes. Then this was around the time too that he was like kissing Perez Hilton and saying that he thought he was gay to Perez Hilton. Then there's all those rumors, remember, about how girls would hook up with him and say that he was into like shitting on a glass table while they laid under it, or having them shit on a glass table. So I just kind of have heard all of this over the years, and I was like, I don't know, based off of what he says, it kind of sounds like, well, after you have sex with a 10 out of 10 girl, then you want to have anal sex with a 10 out of 10 girl. Then you want to have a threesome with 10. Then you want to have an orgy, and then you want to get peed on, and like more and more and more.
Yeah. Interesting. So yeah, just similar to Midnight Mass. Like,
yeah. Oh, wait, so they get into a rut, and did you watch 30 Rock?
No.
Well, there's this scene where Jenna, she's like the blonde actress on the show, and she's like super sexual. She meets this other guy, like they do all these crazy things. But then, you know, they kind of settle into a rut, but they refuse to admit that it's a rut of just being in like old married couple vibes. So instead they're like, we actually discovered a new fetish called normaline, and I tuck this Afghan on you and you fucking liked it, you bitch. And like, we might go to Applebee's for like the early bird special where normaline in public, it's so sick and nasty, because like they can't refuse to admit that they settled down.
That's so funny. I really like that.
It was a good bit.
Okay, let's wrap up with, I have some quotes from you and a listener question. So here's our internet investigation, our cursory peruse of the internet of things you need to know. I pulled some quotes from Sierra, the author. She says, the Priest series in all its taboo glory has always been about the beautiful tension between the sacred and the profane, the spiritual and the carnal, about what part of human life are labeled with which word and why. She says, it's the greatest privilege of writing fiction that authors can help imagine the world they'd like to live in. So I imagine that world in Saint. I guess this is about the second book. A world where the sacred and the profane aren't pitted against each other, but where the soul and the body are celebrated as part of being fully incarnated human.
Ayo.
And then finally she says there's a lot of cognitive dissonance in being a Catholic because it's so deeply sensual in a sensory way. You're asked to kneel while incense curls around you. You're asked to pray in rays of light that are stained with stained glass. You're asked to come up and taste the flesh of God.
Oh my God. No, it is sensual.
No, I was thinking about this so much. Even the confessional booth, just like the peep of their face through the like grate, like all of this stuff, and like the kneeling and stuff like that, and the robes, what's under the robe. Father Bell.
Oh my God, wait, no, it is so, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter be like, let's be honest, Catholicism has like the best aesthetic, you know, because it's like the robes, like the stained glass, the carved everything, like the wood, like the chandeliers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I was thinking this, I was like, that's so true, because a lot of like BDSM and like kink is about sensory experiences and stuff. And I was like, man, you could really make a meal out of a crumb here. Like,
I do feel like all religions kneel. But I remember when my great aunt died, I went to the funeral and we had to kneel in front of this pew one by one, and you couldn't touch the Eucharist. You had to open your mouth and the priest put the Eucharist in your mouth. And I remember being like,
is that the cracker?
The cracker, yeah.
Yeah.
The cracker. And I was like, this feels uncomfy. Like I am kneeling and you're putting something in my mouth.
And it's like a man, like an old man,
yeah,
putting something on your tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. As incense curls around you.
Yeah. With the stained glass window.
Stained glass windows
mood
are
light.
so fucking cool. Like they're so nice.
Yeah, so I like this. I like this series. I'm gonna look up some more religious erotica.
Yeah. Let's do round 2, baby.
Okay, Wonder-Wise, under our unanswered questions for listeners. You brought this up. I guess my unanswered question is, why did he just not leave the church and find another job? Because I was like, you could work at a university.
Yeah, you could get a paycheck. Imagine that.
Yeah, like you could lecture, like. You could start a podcast.
My question is, did her beehole get a yeast infection from the sacramental oils getting put in there? And also, what probiotics does she take that allows her to go pantyless every day, without vagging out? I would like to know that too.
Yeah, love it.
Her gut flora and fauna is perfect.
Not
her teeth.
Not her teeth, but her skin and her hair and everything else is fucking perfect. And her lipstick, and he wants to smear it. And okay, grapes and grumbles. These are our nitpicky problems we have with the book. Lamb, right off the bat, horrendous. I would say top 10 worst nicknames in a romance novel I've read.
Yeah.
We talked about this a little bit, but don't put references in your book that ages it, because I think the storyline stands the test of time, but her gladiator sandals and the Walking Dead references do not.
The gladiator sandals. Oh my God, you're right. You're right. That is so 10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So just don't describe their clothes in that much detail. If it's like a blazer or a pencil skirt or whatever, sure. But when you get into gladiator sandal territory, like.
I would also say the easy way that they just had anal sex whenever, like. You can't do that. It takes preparation. And sure, maybe your vagina and your mouth could always be good to go, but the anus, please.
I totally agree. There's not always anal or ass play in books, but when they do it, I do like when it's a page of warm up.
Yes.
It's realistic. Yeah. It's more realistic. Or they use a plug or something.
What about too when he started fucking her while she was asleep and she woke up and loved
it?
Yeah.
I was let's discuss that. Yeah. 100%. 100%. Please don't have sex with people while they're sleeping.
The way that I wake up in a bad mood just on my own after a night of sleeping. I'm in a bad mood. If I woke up and someone was fucking me,
I'm calling the cops. Fucking jail time.
Yeah, we'd be enraged.
100%. Again, retainer in.
Yeah.
But not even that stuff. It's just, don't have sex with people who are asleep. Yeah. I don't know how many times I have to say that. That should be obvious.
Does that happen in a lot of these books?
Unfortunately, honestly, kind of yes. Not always, but definitely. And also I know that some people like to read about it. Maybe it's something that they're into that they don't actually want to happen to them in real life. So I've seen Reddit posts being is there books with there's a word for it, and
non-consent reluctance or something.
Not even that. It's there is something. It is something. It's not dub-con or non-con or whatever. It's specific to sleeping.
Yeah. So
it's if you're seeking that out, but it's man, in the average book, I feel just avoid.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, sequel scoop. This is the tea on any upcoming sequel seasons and the general reception. We said there's the novella. Go check that one out. It's a good read. The sequel is Sinner, which covers Tyler's brother Sean, and then Saint with Aiden. I've read the second one. I will eventually read the third one, but I didn't like them as much as Priest. Priest is really good.
My friend said that she stopped reading the third one. She just couldn't really get it through it, but she said the second one was good.
Okay. It's like it's not a nun.
Stop. Why is it less sexy when it's a nun?
I know. There's something about the priest that just really does it.
Yeah.
Okay. Finally, our listener question at Melanie Zappai. I don't know. Girly, thanks for the question. She says, do you guys think this book was Taylor's inspiration for False God?
I don't think Taylor Swift read this book.
No, I don't think she did either.
Like, but I could see her reading erotica, but I can't see her reading this book. I don't know why.
What type of erotica do you think she reads? Like where they're both
rolling
rolling around in money? Like,
yeah. And then I fucked his debit card. I think that. By the way, that goes to show you I'm so not a debit card. Taylor Swift even has a debit card. Like, she's on such a different fucking plane. She definitely reads books about bad boys because, like, John Mayer, Maddie Healy, like Martin Johnson, she loves a bad boy. So I bet she's reading those like mafia boss books. I bet she's reading that like I'm like a pirate, I'm a cowboy, like some sort of like bad boy trope. Like, I don't think the priest is gonna do it for her.
No, totally. She's definitely into like mafia boss, like leather jacket, suit and tie, tattoos,
and of course lesbian smut.
And of course that
with models. Carly Class. Do you think she's read her own the Kaler timeline or whatever that's about her and Carly Kloss? It's like that legendary fan fiction.
Absolutely, I feel like.
Okay, if somebody wrote fanfic about you, would you be creeped out? Did I tell you I once dated a guy who had fanfic written about him? He was like a YouTuber.
No.
It was all gay fanfic, by the way, too. I was like, is there something you're not telling me? All gay fanfic, yeah.
That's so funny. I recently saw a clip on TikTok. You know the podcast The Backyard or The Yard or something like that? It's a really big podcast. It's two guys talking.
Yeah, they have that clip that's gone viral where it's like, if you drink vodka, you're a, and then one person says slut and the other person says 16, and then it's like, those things can't be true. That those guys.
Exactly. Okay. They read fanfic about themselves on their podcast, which I thought was really, I think hooking up with each other, which I thought was really, really funny.
Oh, that is funny.
Would I read it? Yes, because I'm a nosy Nelly. Would I like it? No. I don't know. There is a part of it that it's like, do you think it's an invasion of privacy? Like, I think it is. And so it's like, that's why I'm okay with it living on the internet and not being published and stuff like officially published and stuff like that. Like, if I'm Harry Styles and there's fucking like 6 movies about me.
Well, see, I have like no concept of boundaries, so I'm like, yeah, go for it. I'm like, send it to me. I'll let you know how I like it or whatever. But something that I used to do with the lit erotica that I would read is I would copy paste it into a Word document, and then you can Control F and change all of the times it says Poppy to say Shannon, right? And then you could have them guys' name be whoever's name you want. So like, if you want to read stuff about yourself, like if that kind of
just make it up
literally just Control F and like change the name to yours and like that to the other.
That's so fucking funny.
Yeah, no, but it probably is incredibly invasive and wrong, but I just have a bad barometer on that.
No, same. Especially when it comes with,
yeah.
I know. With celebrities, it's like, I just can't help myself. Anything else you want to share about Priest before we wrap up?
No, I'm just excited for the Instagram reel of all the ladies that we thought could be Poppy because it was like a very cute look. She also was giving me a little bit of Stella Barry in it.
Who's
she's
that?
That OnlyFans girl, but she's also on TikTok. And I think she also has kind of like 2 big front teeth, but kind of like a child, like big eyes, tiny nose type of face. I think her username everywhere is like Anal Princess or something. So maybe she could play her in not a movie, but an adult movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Okay, Shannon, this was super fun. Where can the listeners find you and anything else you want to plug?
You can find me masturbating in my basement reading Priest. No, I'm just kidding.
No, Akamaf now. You've moved on to Akamaf.
Yes, the silver court of silver Frost or whatever the fuck it is. I am at FluentlyForward everywhere. We do podcasts and social media clips and videos all about pop culture, celebrity gossip, fun conspiracy theories, but think Atlantis, not QAnon. And we just do like fun kind of junk food topics like that.
Love it. Okay, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
And that's the story of Priest. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you to Shannon for joining me on today's show. It was a little raunchier than our normal episodes, but I hope you liked it just the same. It's May 15th, which means I will be posting the June schedule ASAP over on Instagram. So you can check that out at Ready to Be Romanced. And if you haven't already, subscribe and leave a rating and review for the podcast. Because we're a new podcast, ratings and reviews really matter. So if you like this episode or if you've been liking the show, I would so appreciate it if you took a minute to leave a rating and review. You can also suggest a book for me to cover or leave a voicemail for a future episode via the links in the episode show notes. Our next episode is Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. Until then, happy reading. For Ready to Be Romanced, I'm Torry. Goodbye.